I will say, my funniest and most memorable memories, my first time going to Australia to play. And we leave Christmas night to get to Australia. And my dad and I are so exhausted. I believe we're in Auckland. And so it's beautiful. They have the fireworks going on. We're enjoying the view and we just lay down. We have the patio open. We lay down. I think my dad fell asleep, but my eyes were closed for a good 10 minutes. And I hear my dad say, Angie, open your eyes. When I opened my eyes, the entire ceiling was full of mosquitoes.
No,
Yeah.
no.
When I say we couldn't see the white of the ceiling, it was all mosquitoes. And it had to be about midnight. And I don't know why me and my dad and I didn't like call somebody, but we were jumping from bed to bed, like swatting mosquitoes for hours. Hours. I had no idea there's mosquitoes in Australia. I laugh about that to this day, but that was like mortifying. So never again we learned. I love Australia.
Don't leave the patio door open.
Don't
They
leave the window open.
don't do it in Australia. And I love Australia, but yeah, that's a valuable lesson that I learned. But yeah, I the things I miss the travel, you know. I did enjoy the traveling and just seeing different things, and the arenas are also different. I really feel like no court is the same. Like the stadiums, the atmosphere and the energy from the crowd, things like that. It helped me to like really appreciate like the hard work that you put in, and like you said, the what you bring to the table. Like I feel like you're the crowd, like they help you to get to that next level and enjoy the moment,
Yeah.
like really enjoy what you're doing out on the tennis court. And that's one thing, like my dad, he always like wanted out of my brother and I. He's like, you guys are going to be ticket sellers. Like, if people are buying tickets to watch you play, you have to win or lose. You have to entertain the crowd. So
Okay.
that's one thing from our youth. He's like, your game is going to be like this, but you're also going to be an entertainer.
Was
And
that difficult for you transitioning? Like I'm always curious about like going from playing tennis matches, junior tennis matches, to playing in a stadium. Like there's no real like, practice for that, so, save for a few examples, but like what was that like for you just kind of making that transition to like I play in front of 20 people, I play in front of thousands of people.
yeah, it was overwhelming. The very first time I played on Arthur Ashe at the US Open, they actually changed my match at the last minute. I was going to play Francesca Schiavone, and
Mm,
we were set for grandstand. And
manageable
stadium,
court.
Arthur Ashe finished. They're like, hey, we got to put somebody on this court. So like 20 minutes before, they're like, we're putting you there. And I never even trained on that court. And let me
Right.
tell you, when I walked on the court, I'm like, this is twice the size of the. I was so overwhelmed, and that tightened me up. That tightened me up so much, like before the match, because I just never experienced that before. So eventually,
Alan, let me chime in on you, Angie,
that's
because
okay.
I have a little something on this that people don't may not fully understand. You don't get to practice in Ash unless you are a top seeded player.
Right.
You go to the window, book a court, you will not even see Ash available to be booked.
You don't have that
True.
You
status.
have to you have to go. There's an office right outside the tournament director's office. His secretary, whatever. She manages the court schedule for Ash. You have to have a special pass just to get in there. You got clearance and all that, and it's the big time. They are only ones in there. I remember Skull was going to play Nadal.
And
We got to play. In fact, they said, "Well, you're playing on Ash. You need to be able to practice on Ash. Come with us." and you had to go to the separate office to get with old girl just to get you some practice time in on Ashe. Here's a second little note. I'm playing on Ashe. Angie, it feels like a football field with a tennis court in the middle. The stands go up like this, like a
Yes.
runway.
Yes.
The French Open, Alvin, the seats are like this.
Right, yeah.
Like a cup of coffee.
Well, even center court Wimbledon's pretty tight.
Wimbledon's pretty tight. Australia's not as tighter on the back, but then on the sides, right? U.S. Open is like,
it's a joke.
It is like a plate more than a bowl, right? And Alvin, I remember feeding balls. And then, of course,
were you shaky?
I'm shaky. I'm tight feet. I'm tight feet balls. I hit a couple balls with Sco because waiting on one of the players. I shaked a forehand, and I'm like, oh, there's nobody there watching me. There's 50 people mulling around, half of them people that work at the venue. Ain't nobody watching. I'm tight. I'm counting.
Yes.
Alvin, I'm using the cadence.
There you go.
And I'm rolling balls down the court. Talk about tight. And so, Sco yells over to me. You little tight, TH? I said, little tight. And
put a hat on your head, keep your head still.
Pulled it down strong. I finally got comfortable about 5 minutes in.
Man, right.
Breathing. I felt like an elephant was on my chest, and I was in great shape. Had nothing to do with my heart. And I'm like, and I looked around, and I'm like, can you imagine this thing full? And so I told him, Sco and I've laughed about it now, but I wanted to just add some color to what she's just talking about. You don't get a chance to play there. There's players that have played their whole career that have never played in Ashe Stadium or Chatrier or some of the top, unless they're maybe once or twice they played a seed on the way. So I say that to say, getting a chance to play on that stage is a big deal. Let alone to get comfortable enough playing there.
Right.
You don't get comfortable in there unless you played there about 5-6 times, and then you kind of know what's up. So Angie, I'm glad you brought that up.
No, look, I really appreciate you because you knew how Scope felt. You like, look,
buddy,
you finna play me down, like,
buddy, and
he played Roddick on Ashe too. Oh yeah,
At night.
Yeah.
At night with Roddick, sir.
No,
and
you can't see that in the daytime.
One of the best quotes I heard. The guy asked him at the press conference, "How was it? How did you how did you handle Andy's serve or whatever?" And Sco said, "I did. I didn't." He said, "I was trying not to get hit with the first one."
Right.
And I was laughing at that, but it was real. Man, I was so impressed at his honesty, at that moment. You know what I mean? Because you can feel naked out there. You know what I mean?